great selling Saturday, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It says out of Moscoto Jr. with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, in with our 15 minutes to mastery that we do each and every day to get you some information, inspiration, and motivation. And welcome to March. Welcome to March. March 1st. That's right. The month is over. Hope you guys crushed it. And if you didn't, it's time to attack. And no better day to get started attacking a new month than on a Saturday, man. On the selling Saturday, when it's just all about the sale and getting out there and doing great things. Start building up that pipeline. And with that in mind, I wanted to come and talk to you about a very, very important subject, right? People talk about salespeople, sales consultants, sales professionals, housing consultants, whatever you want to call yourself. People talk about you all the time and say, man, sometimes you guys are a little cocky, a little arrogant, a little whatever it may be. And I'm here to tell you that you have to be the most confident person in the room. I don't care what room you walk into, you need to be the most confident person in the room. Now, with that being said, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm just talking about confidence. And there's a difference between the two. Listen, Arthur Ashe wrote, one important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence is preparation. You see, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. Arrogance is a person who is just cocky, and that person just comes in and you can feel the fakeness. Confidence is a person who comes in, and some people may take it as arrogance, but it's just this person has control. This person speaks in a manner that is that person is self-assured in what they are saying. They're very, very confident in what they're saying. Why? Because that person is prepared, because that person knows the things that he or she needs to know. They've proven it and they've done the work. Now, I want you to pick up on that. They've proven it and they've done the work. So in other words, there's a lot of people out there who will come in and tell you, hey, this is what you got to do here, and you got to do this, and you got to be this way, and you got to be that way, but they've never done anything themselves. You know, I even heard that at the beginning when I started Manufactured Home Sales Mastery. A lot of people think that I started the company without having any sort of experience, that I just decided to put a sales training program together for manufactured home companies, not realizing that I spent the last 30 years before that in the housing industry. I spent almost 14 years, a little over 14 years in manufactured home sales, from housing consultant to sales manager to general manager. But 15 years prior to that, I was in site built world. I designed homes, I designed and build, I was selling homes, I was selling architectural services. I did all of that. So I've been in the industry. When I speak about housing, when I speak about the homes, when I speak about selling, when I speak about what we do in helping other people, it's because I've done it for the past 30 years prior to launching this company. And so that's why I say there's different levels of confidence. And so for those of you that are out there selling today and every single day, whether it's your first day on the sales floor, or it's your first week that you've been with your company, or you've been doing this 30 years, there's different levels to the confidence. And a lot of folks sometimes come into this business, and the big mistake they make, guys, I'm talking to you right now, the big mistake that a lot of you or people prior to you have made is they come in with a confidence about them because they've sold before, and that's great. That's always fantastic that you've done some sort of sales before. But when you come into the manufactured home industry, it's different. It's a different animal. It's a different way of doing business altogether. And what you did out there, I don't care if it was cars, if you were a realtor, whatever you did out there, coming into this industry, it's different. It's different in a sense of the one main thing that makes it different is this. You see, you go upgrade your phone, you go see about upgrading to the latest, hopefully not iPhone, but I'm just joking, all right? Like, I'm an Android guy. So anyway, you go upgrade your phone and you get excited. You go out there, you're there, you're wanting it. Hey, man, I've been here 3 hours already. Can I get out of here? got the phone. All right. I want to get the phone. Well, sir, you're going to have to do this. You're going to go, okay, what do I need to do? Right. And you're there and you get it done and you leave and you're excited. Boom. Right. You go buy a car. Same thing, man. And you got to spend hours at the dealership because you got to go through the finance person. You got to get paperwork signed and all this other stuff. But you're excited. You want to go out and do it. Man, fantastic. Let's go. What do we got to do? People come in and they go to a subdivision. They go deal with a realtor. And they're excited. They want the house. And man, it's hard. God, the prices are crazy. The rates, they've gone down a little bit, but it's still high. And the payment's going to be high. But you're telling me I can get it? Fantastic. What do I got to do? And they do, and they'll go through the whole process. And that's pretty much across the board in any sort of anything that people are trying to buy. This industry, folks, people come in, they want to buy a home, but they're fighting you the whole way through. The majority of the buyers have some sort of hang up. Some folks are still thinking about the stigma of the home. Some people are worried about what other people are going to think, or if maybe they're excited, but then they've got their family members that are telling them they shouldn't buy the manufactured home. Why are they looking at manufactured home? You don't have that in any other industry. And that's why I tell you, your level of confidence, your level of preparation, the level of skill that you've got to be able to do what you do on a daily basis is different. So when you come in here and you come into this industry, I applaud you for having the confidence. But what I am telling you is this: you also need to have an open mind, and you need to get rid of the ego, and you need to understand that there are things that must be learned. There are things that must be improved. There are things that will be continuously, you'll continuously have to be improving in order to be able to connect better and understand, well, what is customer centric? What do you mean by empathy? How do I apply that to manufactured homes? Because, oh my God, why is it that the majority of the people that I talk to won't even buy? So you've got to have enough confidence to not just overcome the buyer, but overcome yourself, because there will be times where you are going to be like, what am I even doing? 80% of the people that you deal with can't buy, won't buy, will ignore you. It's the 20% that you're after. And sometimes that gets tough. Come on, let's be honest, right? If for those of you that have been doing it a while, sometimes it gets rough where you just like no after no after no after no after D and Q after no after D and Q after backing out, after canceling purchase, after family members talking them out of it, after I got to go to Mexico, I got an emergency in Mexico, and I'm going to have to go take care of my family out there. We've all been through it. So it takes a different level of confidence to be able to handle all of that, to get through and break through and have the level of success that you can have in this industry that is available to you. So I'm not trying to poo-poo on the industry. It's a fantastic industry, and you do great things, and you help so many people. And there's so many more people out there to be helped that can't afford a site built home anymore. I talk to you about that all the time. So this message is one of inspiration in that, look, you need to build the confidence, but confidence, like Arthur Ashe spoke about, that self-confidence comes from preparation. That self-confidence comes from continuing to grow. That self-confidence comes from having a manager or general manager who actually lifts you up, inspires you, who continues to grow you. Having that general manager that's wanting to see you succeed. Having that general manager that wants to see you take his or her chair. You see, if you have that type of leader, you should grab onto that person. You should appreciate that person, and you should learn as much as you possibly can from that person. And if you have that type of leader, you should do the things that even to you sometimes don't make sense. Like, why do I have to? What do you mean? Oh my God. What? Just do it. Because all that person wants is for you to succeed. And they've been through it. They've seen it. They've come out the other side of it. And here's the thing. I always used to tell people when I hired them, or even people that worked for me for a while, that were on my team when I was a general manager, and they would tell me, I want to become a GM. I want your chair. I loved it. I thrived on that. I wanted it because I wanted to pour into that person. That was the person that I truly poured into. Not that I didn't to everybody else, but I really made sure that that person, to the point where they were sometimes like, dude, okay. But because I wanted them to have it, because all that meant for me is, man, it's another level up for me. You see, those that have confidence don't look at that as a threat. They look at it as an opportunity. Who am I to keep you from that? And so when we're talking about high performers in the industry, right, we're talking about different levels of confidence. When you come into this industry, okay, for those of you that have been here for just a short period of time, or even those of you that have been here for a long time, okay, you have to have the confidence in that, hey, this is a great industry. There's potential here. You have to have the confidence in that you have some sort of skill, but you also have to have the confidence to learn from others. You have to have the confidence in yourself to understand that by you opening your mind and you accepting the instruction and you actually putting it into action doesn't mean you're lesser than, doesn't mean you're not that great of a sales consultant. It just means you're a type of person who wants to level up. That's the kind of confidence that you need to have. You build up the skill, you build up the verbiage, you build up the confidence in your presentation, you build up the confidence in your feature benefiting and closing and all of that through the knowledge you acquire. And you become a different level of sales consultant, and that's a different type of confidence. But you've got to start with this other level of confidence. Whether you're new or been in a while, if you've been in it a while and you've been stuck in the same, I get my 40, 50 homes out a year, or I get my 30 homes out a year, I'm making 100, I'm making 150,000. Great. Why aren't you making 3? Why aren't you making 250? Why aren't you making $300,000? Why aren't you helping more families? How is it that you've been in this industry for 10, 15, 30 years and you're still limited? It's because you haven't opened yourself up to a different level. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. There is always, always, always another level. There's always another level to get to. There's always something more that you can do. There's always more that you can have, and not in a greed type of way. I'm talking about there are always levels. Levels of improvement, levels of success, levels of growth. People don't get to that point. The Jeff Bezos and Elon Musks and Donald Trumps and all these other folks, made whoever you want to talk about, okay? They don't get to that point because they became confident. They reached a certain point and, oh, there I am. Do you really think that that's who they are? You go back in history, with the exception of one that I just mentioned, the others didn't start with money, but they built it to where they are at. Why? Not because they reached a certain point and said, oh, well, I've got it down. Like some of you that have been in this industry for a while and, well, I know it and this is how I've always done it. And yeah, but you're stuck there for the last 30 years making $150 a year. How are all these people passing you up? How are all these people helping other people? It's not all about you. There's so much more that you can do with this. So the high performers, they build that confidence by learning, by growing, by learning from others, by taking what others are telling them. People that have done it at a higher level, they're taking that information from those above them that are just pouring into them. Sometimes you may hear the message in a way you don't want to hear it, but it's still a message to help you grow. But they'll take that message and they run with it and they put it into action. The people that aren't self-confident, they hear those messages and they take it like, why is this guy or this gal telling me this anyway? My God, I know what I'm doing. And who is this person to come in and tell me how I'm supposed to do things? And you stay stuck. And you're looking around, you're like, how are all these people passing me up? You know how? Because those people are actually listening and learning and improving and getting better and building a different level of self-confidence. And they come in and execute day in, day out, build out bigger and do other things with this industry to help them exponentially grow. And that's what I want to see for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you has the opportunity. We have the opportunity to build so many millionaires all across the country just out of this industry, and you're in it. You should be excited about that. I don't care if you're right here in San Antonio, Texas, or if you're in somewhere in Idaho, or if you're upstate New York, you should have that belief that it's there. All I need is to acquire the knowledge and stay open-minded and keep learning and improving, and I will get there. I will do that. I will learn those things. I will build this out, and then I'm going to learn how to do something else that I can take this and pour into that and have that grow into something. That's how those people do it. So listen, what do we got to do? Here's your top 5 things that you've got to do in order to build and execute on that confidence. First and foremost, you have to have belief in the business. You have to understand that there is so much opportunity, so much potential. There's 36 million people this year in 2025 that are going to be out there looking for a home. Yes, part of them are manufactured home buyers. Part of them are that 8 to 10% that we've always served over the last 10 to 15, 20 years. But a lot of them are those site-built buyers that they're in a pinch and they really want to buy a home, but they can't afford one. And they're so freaked out about the manufactured home that you need to be different. You need to be better. You need to be able to speak differently. You need to be able to reach them differently. You need to be able to message them differently. And when I say message, I mean in your marketing, you need to be able to establish that confidence in you and the product and the company enough for them to even come and see you. So there in turn comes that leveling up, right? But you need to have belief that this is the answer. Then you take that and you have to have that belief in yourself that you can do it. Not that you're there. Here's the last thing that you need to do. The last thing you need to do is say, I've arrived. I'm there. I'm good. Whether you're delivering 30 homes or you're delivering 80 homes a year, I don't care. You can always get better. Can you imagine if I started this business 2 years ago? Well, I've done it all. I spent 14 years. I was a PhD. I was a sales manager. I was an operations manager. I was a general manager. I've done it all in the industry. These people can't. There's nothing else for me to learn. Here it is. There's the Holy Grail. Oh, and before that, I was in the site built world for 15 years, and I designed homes, and I built homes, and I sold homes, and so I know everything that there is about housing. I know how to build them, and I know how to sell them. Can you imagine if I'd taken that and I'd just be here and no, this is the way you got to do? I started the business. I thought it was going to be certain. This is what people are going to buy into, and they didn't. Oh my God, I was freaking out. Like, what is wrong? What did I miss? You imagine if I'd been that person that, that's who I am, and no, I had to learn. I had to learn the business. I had to learn the way people were thinking for what I was doing now, just like you have to learn how they're thinking, the buyers, the home buyers, and you have to adjust to that. And that's how you grow, right? So you've got to have the self-confidence, the belief in yourself to understand that you're going to be able to do this. Next thing, you've got to be committed to taking action daily. If you're not doing it daily, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle already as it is. I already told you 80% of the people are not going to buy from you, either because they can't or they won't, or something's going to happen in between all of that that's going to kill the deal. So you've got to be taking actions daily, because at some point in time, man, things are going to fall apart. But you got to be ready to come. You've already built that momentum that even if that happened, you lose 3 or 4 deals in one day, you still got the deals coming and the momentum working, and because you're putting in the action daily. And you have to learn as much as you can as you go. You don't stop to learn. Okay, there's been so many people that came into the industry while I was in it that would say, well, you see, I've got to know everything about the product before I feel confident enough or comfortable enough to offer it and market. Right there, when I heard that, I would have the conversation. Look, you've got to do the work while you're learning. If you think you're going to have to learn it all before you're confident enough to promote it or speak about it, you're going to starve, you're going to struggle, and you're not going to be here in 2 months. So let's not waste each other's time. You have to learn as you go. You don't just completely, I couldn't just do all the work all day without learning and improving and getting better and learning how the market works, learning what I've got to do to build my business. And in turn, then build a team. And now we're growing it even more. And the same thing with you. You can't expect it. Well, I gotta feel confident and comfortable enough with the finance before I can really truly dive into selling. You're not going to be here 2 months. You got to learn as you go. And lastly, the other thing you got to do is you got to pour fuel on your belief daily. And how do you pour gas on that fire? By learning and putting in actions daily. You see, you build that momentum. You come in, you're excited. You learn a little. Hopefully they gave you a little bit of training, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they spent only half a day with you and they put you out and start making phone calls like they did with me the first time I got in the industry. But you're in there and you're making calls and you're getting excited. You see, but that's motivation. Okay. And as you guys already probably know, motivation wears out, right? Like, okay, I've been making calls for a week now and nothing's happening. And you start making less calls and less calls. And then you're scrolling more than you're making calls. And then you're in everything else and you're letting yourself get busy with everything else because you just don't want to make the calls. Why? Because while you were making those calls, when you were motivated, you weren't learning more about the business. You weren't learning more about the product. You weren't learning more about how you can better help people. And you weren't taking more action on top of that. Well, I'm making calls right now. I'm making 20 calls. What else can I do? Maybe I post a little more ads. You see, it's about the daily actions with the learning, with more action. That's how you pour fuel on that fire. That's how you put jet fuel in this thing. By learning and taking actions daily. If you do those things, you're going to be one of the most confident people in this industry, because not just because you know more, but because you know more and you've put in the work, you've put in the action. You're going to be confident in your skills, and it's going to come across when you're speaking to people, not just in person, but on the phone. It's going to sound differently. It's going to feel differently, and you're going to have more influence on them. And when you have more influence on people, they're going to be more likely to come and see you. When they come and see you, they're going to come in already feeling that you're the professional. You see, when you don't come across that way on the phone, that's when they show up and they're kind of apprehensive and they're kind of putting up a wall with you because they just didn't feel it from you. But when you get better and you can handle that call better and you can speak to them better and you can build that trust and that influence on the phone, when they come in, now they're more adept to just really truly being that person that's allowing you to guide them. And that whole transaction goes differently. I'm sure you've had one of those in your career. Hopefully you have. And you felt that, like, man, I wish all of them were like that. You know why? Because that person was at some level that what you said struck a chord with them. Maybe they were brand new, just started searching for a home, so they hadn't really spoken to somebody. But most of the people have already spoken to people, been online, they've heard, they've read, they've seen reviews, they've all these things. So you need to be better to overcome all of that. And that takes confidence. And that's why you need to be the most confident person. But it takes you putting in the work, you being open-minded, putting in the work, learning, and continue to grow. We never reach the top. We never reach the top. I'm never going to reach the top with this company. We're always going to continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to improve. That's what's gotten us to where we're at 2 years in, taking a company that didn't exist in an industry that didn't have something like it, with offering a product that most people were like, why do we even need this? Taking it from 7 months of complete zero no's of business to the last 12 months just being exponentially huge, and going into 2025 already with fire on it. Guys, I want to see you succeed. You just got to get yourself out of your own way and allow yourself to continue growing. And you know that we're here to help you in any way that we can. Whether your company is providing it through us, or if you want to partner with us directly, you can. We've got a program specific for you that'll help you do it, where you can invest just a little bit of money in yourself. But we're going to pour that fuel into your fire. Reach out. We'll give you details on it. I'm not here to pitch it. I'm here to tell you today is Selling Saturday. Go out, do great things, help a lot of families, because that's what they need you to do. Start March off strong. You guys have a great day. We'll be talking again soon. Tomorrow, we're on a flight early in the morning to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we will be all of next week carrying out our immersion sales training program. It's our 5-day training program. It takes a sales consultant from A to Z. those people are going to they're going to get some of that fuel, that jet fuel from us this week. You guys have a great Saturday. Look forward to hearing all the success stories. Until we talk again tomorrow, folks, I can't wait to meet you.